If your email calls are still sending raw HTML or React email, you're missing out on the power of Resend templates. Today, I want to show you why you should be using them, how to set them up, including AI-friendly flows, and all the advantages, including version history, a nice GUI editor, full API access, automations, the list goes on. You ready? Let's go. Well, we'll start with the simple question, what are Resend templates? And the best way to show you this is in comparison between React email and HTML and a Resend template. So here I have a React email template. You can see here how I can pass in specific things, in this case, a message, and I can actually get a nice rendered version of this. Here it is in React email. I can even see what the code looks like. We just saw that ourselves, but you can also see the HTML that it renders. And this is what I would send in my email call. And in fact, that's what I've done. If I jump back over to our contact action, you see I'm just passing along this React component. Now, this is great, but there are several disadvantages. Number one, although it's nice that the code is co-located with the rest of my code in my code base, if somebody wants to change something from marketing or product or something like that, they have to contact a dev and use valuable dev time to make changes. On top of that, I don't have any version history aside from the Git history. So if I make changes in this template, I don't really have any version history aside from Git. And on top of that, if I want to make updates, it'd be nice to not have to push a new code change just to change out something in my email template. Well, all that's available in Resend templates. So here it is, a Resend template right here. Let's look into this one. This is verifying your email. You can see that I get this whole GUI editor. I can actually move items around. I can use this nice interactive thing. I can even use AI to kind of build this out according to my own style, my branding. And I've got these variables as well. You can see how I can actually give them fallback values. They actually all live in this little sidebar section right here. I can update them here, add new ones here as well. And when I go to send this, I can actually get all the benefits of having my template here, and I just have to send along a few of those variables. Now, I mentioned version history. In fact, if I go over here, you can see we've got a full version history panel that shows every time it's been changed. I can actually revert back, see what it used to be, and actually go back if I want to do that. The latest published version is what's always sent whenever I reference this ID for the template. So I always know exactly what's going out. I get full visibility into that. Anybody on the team can change it, and I don't have to push a code update to change the actual email. All right, so that's basically the advantages. Let's now talk about setting it up. So let's talk about 4 different ways to create an email template. The first one is real simple. It's just starting with a broadcast. So if I have a broadcast like this weekly newsletter, I can just clone it as a template, and then it creates a version of that as a template, and I can add custom variables if I want to. This allows me to start with something I already have. So you'll notice here, it actually copies it as code, and we can switch it back to the editor style by holding this button. That gives us all the kind of things we're used to where we can type directly in the editor. All right, that's the first way. The second way is to actually start with AI. So here I'm in a brand new template. I'm going to use the / and start from a prompt. Here I'll just say to create a contact form using this as a reference, and I'll pass a reference to an actual blog post from my website. Now what this does is grabs my branding, it grabs my voice and tone, and adds all this to an email to get me started. So this is not only just the design, which is really nice, but it actually can pull my content as well. It's grabbed my branding, it's actually tried to use the same kind of language I would typically use, and it actually has created some of these variables for me automatically. The sender name, the sender email, subject, all this kind of stuff. Now I don't have to use all these things. I can remove some of them if I want to, but it's really nice to get started with it out of the gate. Now, the third way is to work with code. And there's basically 2 different ways, so this will be 3 and 4. Now, I'm back on the main templates page. You'll notice that if you hit the letter A or click on here, it'll actually pull out this API drawer to show you that you can create all of this from scratch. And this is kind of one of our fundamental beliefs at Resend. We're email for developers, which means that developers should always be able to access everything through an API or SDK, whatever SDK they prefer. So here I can actually create this all from Node, from PHP, Python, Ruby, Go, Rust, all this natively built for that particular language. Pass this along, including variables that I can create, and then this will live inside of Resend at that point. So you can actually dynamically create these as well. All right, fourth, let's look at React email. Maybe you already have React email in your project. This is a great way to actually create a template. So let me show you that. Here I'm actually using this already inside of React email. This is the one I'm sending out when somebody fills out that contact form on my website. Now you'll notice there's a little Resend tab down this way. And if I use npx React email at latest resend setup, it'll prompt me to add an API key. Now this API key will be stored locally and securely on my machine, and I can use it to upload this or multiple templates at the same time to my own Resend account. So here in my terminal, I'll run that command and then it asks for an API key. I already have one on my clipboard, so I'll paste this in, which now means I can use this to upload my template. So I'm just going to restart my React email server, and now it will reload the page, and you'll see I have the option to upload a template or even bulk upload multiples of these. So let's bulk upload all the ones I have here, and these will actually show up directly in my Resend account now. And in fact, here they are. Here's the order confirmation, the newsletter, and the contact receipt. So all these were my local files. I can just say, hey, bulk upload all my React email templates, make them templates inside of Resend. Now they don't carry over all the variables, so you need to add those here. So in this case, we just have the message variable. Once again, I'm going to come over here and make sure I hold to confirm so I can now edit it visually. So you can go back and forth between the two, but you kind of want to know, am I editing code or am I editing it visually? And this is what we're doing here. So this message is what we're going to replace with our own custom variable. So here I'm going to add this here with these curly brackets and click create variable. We'll call this message all uppercase. Whatever you name this, you've got to use the exact same thing in your call. So just a note there. We'll keep it as a string with no fallback value, or maybe we'll do like your message or something like that. Hopefully I won't send it without that. Otherwise that might be awkward for the person. All right. But this is the person's message that will then get sent along. Again, all your variables live right over here. Now, in order to actually use this, I need to publish the template. So I'm going to drag this across here. Actually, before I do that, it's going to warn me I need a subject. So we'll say like, thanks for contacting us. All right. And I can also add a preview text if I want to and use AI to make that a little bit easier. And then up here, we'll call this Wayback Store and we'll use this contact.waybackstore.dev. Okay. So now I think we've got everything we need. I'm going to go ahead and click publish and pull this across. So if you're keeping track, that's 4 ways to create a template. You can clone a broadcast, you can use AI, you can just do it through the API call, and you can also start with React email and upload that up. I should mention that we have an MCP server, we have skills, we also have a CLI, which has its own skills as well. And AI is really good when you give it any of those and tell it to actually create a template for you and upload it to Resend. So you've got a bunch of different ways to get them in there. So now let's talk about what do you do once you have a template. Once again, I want to show a few different ways to use templates. Let's start by just replacing an email call. That's the simplest example. So here you see where we're passing along this React email template. So every time I send this contact form, it should send this along. We can actually see that in action if I come over here and just click send message. This sends it using that React email template. Now I can actually check this in my own email inbox, and here it is, Wayback Store. We've got your message. This is from React email. So what would I do if I wanted to replace this with my custom template? Well, you'll see over here, we've got this contact receipt. This is the ID I'm going to need. And then remember, we have that one variable name of message. So I'm going to come back over to my code and we're going to replace all of this here with a template like this template. And it has 2 different things we pass along. Number 1 has an ID. That would be the contact receipt. It already knows what I've got. And then I've also got variables. And these variables, we have just the one, although it kind of depends what you happen to have. So my variable happens to be called message all uppercase like this. We're going to pass along the message here. Now you'll notice I'm getting a lot of errors here, and that's because you can't have React email or HTML when you're passing along a template. So it can only take one or the other. So in this case, I've replaced it with this contact receipt. So let's actually see it in practice. So here I'm saying this is from a template. I did this ahead of time and we'll just click send. And now let's check this in the email inbox. So here you'll say we've got our message. Let's scroll down. This is from a template. So it already used my custom template that I pushed up to Resend and now owns that. Now here's the real beauty is what if I want to update that, all I have to do is update the template, no code changes required. And the next time somebody hits that contact form, they'll be sent the new updated email. And it's got full visibility, version history. Anyone on my team can edit it. There's even live multiple cursor support as well. So we can all be in there together, customizing this. Obviously, this is not that kind of an email, but hopefully that helps you understand the power of using templates within a team. All right, secondly, you can actually turn this into a broadcast. So templates can become broadcasts. Here I am in a brand new broadcast, and I'm going to pick a template. And here I can start with any template as kind of the basis starting point for my broadcast. And I want to send this to everyone who's signed up today or something like that. So you can actually take a template and convert it into a broadcast. So you can kind of go both ways depending on what you need. All right, third, you can use templates in automations. And this is really, really powerful. So here I'm in a new automation. I'll click start with trigger. We can even use AI and just say, whenever I have a new user that's created, wait 10 minutes and then send them and here's the cool thing. I can use an thing and just search for like, don't I have a welcome email? I do. Hovering it shows, yeah, that's exactly what I want. I'll send this along and let AI do this for me. Of course, you can build this out yourself if you want, but you've got this custom event. Whenever this event fires, then I can wait 10 minutes and then send the email. I can accept it here, jump inside here and actually select this user created. It didn't seem to grab that. I'll wait 10 minutes though, and then this is the email I will send. I can customize the settings. It uses all the defaults if I want. And you'll see that I've got a few variables for this particular template. Not the one we created, but one I had before. So templates allow you to interact with automations. You can start broadcasts from them. You can send them in your call instead of sending along an entire template in your email call. They're just really, really powerful primitives with full version history, multi-cursor support. I hope you understand the power of them and that you can see the usefulness in your own workflow. Well, let us know how you're using templates, how we can make them better for you, and I'll catch you in the next one. Happy emailing.